Welcome to Flawless Shoe Reviews. Today I'm going to compare the Brooks Glycerin GTS 22 versus the classic Brooks Glycerin 22. So they sound very similar, but they're designed for completely different purposes. I'll break them down whether it's for walking, as a lifestyle shoe, or for running. So if we look at the midsole first, they both had a massive upgrade compared to the previous models. So we now have the DNA-tuned nitrogen-infused midsole in both shoes. So these have larger, wider cells in the heel, narrower, densely packed cells in the forefoot. The larger ones are designed to absorb impact when you initiate contact with the ground, whereas the narrower, densely packed ones are supposed to give you more of a spring, so it really affects the push-off phase of the gait cycle, and we definitely feel like you can notice that when you run. But they do transition slightly differently because of the different support systems in it and the different weights of the shoe. So if we look at the GTS 22 first, it's a little bit heavier as a shoe, coming in at 303 grams versus 289 grams in the classic Glycerin in a size 9 men's US. They also have a slightly different heel stack and drop. So we have 39 mils in the rear foot, 29 in the forefoot, giving you a 10 mil drop in the GTS, whereas you've got a 38 mil and a 28 mil in the classic Glycerin. So both of them have a 10 mil drop, slightly different in the amount of stack. And then in the GTS, it stands for a go-to support system. So you can see on the inside of the GTS, you've got this medial arch support. And compared to the previous model, it's a bit more of a moderate to max stability shoe as opposed to a mild to moderate stability shoe, because the cushion's a little bit firmer underneath the heel, so you don't sink into it as much, and therefore you can feel that prominent arch support underneath your foot a little bit more. So those of you who enjoy that support underneath your arch, who struggle to control pronation moments, you'll really enjoy having this extra support. We have a smaller amount of support on the outside around the heel, and then we've got some nice sole flare and a broad base support to couple up those stability elements of the shoe. Whereas in the classic Glycerin, we don't have any of these features in the midsole on the inside or the outside. We do have some sidewalls on the heel, on the inside and the outside, and then a smaller one towards the midfoot. These come up, cradle your foot, trying to keep it centered in the shoe as you move. So it acts more as what we classify as a stable neutral shoe. So it's a neutral bed. It doesn't have a classic arch support, but the broad base and the sidewalls help to contribute to elements of stability within the shoe. Then it doesn't have as rigid of a heel counter as what we see in the GTS. So a rigid heel counter wraps around your heel, helps to keep it nice and centered when you initiate contact with the ground. Some people struggle when they initiate contact with the ground, they get an excess pronation moment, so having a stiff heel counter helps to keep it nice and centered. Some of the downsides of that is if you have sensitivity around the back of your heel from bursitis or insertion Achilles issues, you may not enjoy that extra pressure on the back of the heel. Both of them have introduced some nice padding around the heel cup with a nice external pull-on tab. They've got a nice plush upper mesh on both of them, and neither of them are gusseted in terms of the tongues and are nice and padded. So in terms of walking and lifestyle, that 10 mil drop can help offload your Achilles, but it can put extra pressure on your forefoot if you stand for long periods of time. Some of you may notice that, but the majority of you won't notice it and will find them relatively comfortable. We do notice the pickup when you change into running, so the weight makes it a little bit prohibitive for faster workouts and more up-tempo workouts. However, they are more of a cruiser shoe, more of your classic shoe that you can use as a beginner, or for daily runs, your standard runs and recovery runs. So all-rounder, a little bit lighter in the classic Glycerin, slightly lower amount of stack, doesn't have the same support system that we see in the GTS. So stable neutral in the Glycerin, and in the GTS we have a moderate to max stability shoe. You can check out the latest prices of them in the description below. We've got links onto Amazon. If you've got any questions on either of them or any of the Brooks range, please drop in the comment section or check out the channel. We've got comparisons of every type of Brooks shoe that you can imagine. Otherwise, if you found the video helpful, like and share and subscribing does make a massive difference to us. Thank you for watching.